All right, well, Leroy, Mariah, Tim, thanks for taking some time. We all know that wastewater rates, big topic in the city of Bryant, has been for some time. And we're in the middle of, we have one master plan that's been approved, water. We got a wastewater master plan that's coming up, and we're doing a rate study. So there's a lot of things going on to make sure we're communicating with the people well. So as these plans get accepted and the rate study goes through, I understand that Act 605 changes the way those rate studies are implemented. So Tim, how were they implemented in the past before Act 605?
In the past, before Act 605, the council, who's the governing body of the rates, could choose when to vote those rates in.
Okay.
And in theory, they could change the rate to how they wanted. Act 605 mandates that if your rate comes back at this, it has to be implemented at this. It takes away the option of a vote.
Gotcha.
And it also, the rate has to be in place by 2026.
So Mariah, as you are way deep into this water world, what brought that on? Why would the state legislature come in and essentially kind of take the power out of the local council and make them pass these rates?
Yes, as you know, I mean, Arkansas has a lot of rural cities and a lot of rural, smaller water systems that provide water, to the communities that they serve. There's a lot of underfunded water systems in Arkansas because no one likes to pay, for water or wastewater. They're essential services, they're human rights. We feel like we should have access to them, but there is a price to get the water safely from the source to the tap and make sure that it's following all the regulations that we have in place for our health and our family's health. So they got together and they said, we're going to make sure that people are getting consistent rate studies done so that people are evaluating how much it costs to get that water from the source to the tap safely and cover the full cost of service so that they can continue to do it efficiently, safely, follow all the regulations so that we're not seeing systems and communities that are going without water, or they're in jeopardy of losing employees because they can't pay them, or they're breaking permits, things like that. So Act 605's point is to really make sure that systems are not only consistently evaluating their system and making sure that they're staying up to date on the things that they need to stay up to date, but it's also taking the decision away from the governing body and making sure that these systems are able to be properly covered from debt service, operation and maintenance, capital improvements, things like that. So us completing our master plans really helps ensure that we're making sure the proper capital improvement plan goes into that rate study so we're set up for the future.
So, big picture, these big projects that are going to make sure our infrastructure is strong into the future and we're prepared for the growth, those big projects from the master plan will play into what this rate study comes back and says, hey, City of Bryant, you need to do this, this, and this to pay for these improvements. Is that accurate enough, fair enough?
Yeah, our master plans take into account near-term, mid-term, and long-term improvements. So the rate study will really only take into account those near-term improvements. Since we have to do a rate study every 3 years, you don't want improvements that we're planning to do in 10 to 15 years that, depend on growth or things like that. So you want to make sure that you're doing what's best for the city and doing the near-term things has to be done and improved and maintained.
Now, Leroy, you've been on the wastewater committee for a while now. How has that changed your perspective before, as a resident, before you were on that committee, and now that you've been in the belly of the beast, you've seen the details?
Well, you get into the details. Before you just get a water bill and you think, doggone, that's too high. But when you see the cost of the raw water, the cost of sewage, and then with 605. What it encompasses is you have to do everything correct, and in the past Brian had not always done it 100% correct, and there's a cost, and I hate a high water bill, but it in order, like you said, to have safe water and sewage, because I've had issues with the sewage side too, and in order to have the system working properly, it takes the funds. Yeah. So now that I see how everything works and how it ties together, yeah, I don't like the price increases, but you know, you see where it's going. It's not being wasted.
Right. I think that's a big part of what we're trying to do with the communication piece is make sure that the people know what they're paying is being invested in this infrastructure, in the staff, in the people that keep things running, to make sure that we've got a sustainable infrastructure future for water and wastewater for years to come. That's ultimately our goal, is to set the next generation up well with our infrastructure.
And as a consumer, and then now seeing part of the process, I think we're paying a little bit on what was not done 25, 20, 15 years ago, when, you know, if we'd have done this properly, it probably wouldn't be quite as expensive now.
Yeah. I mean, cities in Arkansas are going to see, you know, with Act 605 coming in, it's a great forward-thinking bill. It's going to set sustainable systems up for the future, for a better future. But it is going to be growing pains for some of these systems that really haven't been able to keep up, and they haven't been able to have the revenue. So there's definitely going to be some growing pains, but hopefully we're just setting the citizens up for a better future.
Well, we're going to work really hard at communication, and one of the things I would like to, if I could, if I had a magic wand, and change kind of our mentality. Again, as a consumer, I pay the bills. I pay the same bills as everybody else. Is seeing this as an investment in our future. Like, I get it. The cost is an issue. We struggle with that. We all are struggling with different things financially, but it helps me to know that I'm investing in Bryant when I pay that bill. I'm investing in Bryant's future to make sure that we do have good infrastructure in place for water and sewer that are foundational. We have no water and sewer, we have no city, right? Nobody wants to live here. So it's foundational for our growth and our future. And so thank you all for your time, and thank you for your investment and making sure we get this right.
Yeah.